As you can see, Vince had 23 first half points, 19 of those points being in the first quarter alone, mainly at the expense of Michael Jordan. He was having his way with the old man, but in the second half of the game, Carter was in for a rude awakening.
Man. We already know. You know what I'm saying? I was just waiting for when Mike was going to turn it up, you know. We all know Mike was finna turn it up. What's going on, y'all? Today we got, he was showing why he was up next until... Let's see what happened.
On the night of December 16th, 2001, fans were treated with a much anticipated matchup. Well, Hakeem Olajuwon was present that night, but at that point, that wasn't really the headline that it used to be. People were more excited about this storyline.
I never
and
knew.
That's because they were about.
My fault. I never knew Hakeem played for the Raptors. No funny. What the hell? I never knew that.
Jordan
I
go
played
up
for the
against
Rockets.
Air Carter for the very first time ever, which
Air
happened
Carter.
to take place in the Air
That's what they
Canada
used to call
Center.
him?
Around that time, it really didn't get much better than that. As some of you guys might know, Vince Carter was one of a handful of players that were compared to Michael Jordan just as he was about to enter the league. And for good reason. Both were UNC legends, both were 6'6" guards, and both were historically explosive dunkers.
Michael, move over. Somebody's coming to get your best dunk ever.
that was very vicious, you know.
Oh, and
Just in the fashion that he did it, like,
but if you talk about when I
swaggy.
was younger, I think we could have a really good competition.
Early on, Carter was already being considered next up. He certainly thought that the Jordan comparisons were flattering, but he also felt that the comparisons kinda diminished everything he had done to get to that point. Here's what one of his closest friends had to say about that. Quote, "He doesn't want to be the next anybody, he wants to be the first Vince." Unfortunately for us fans, MJ just so happened to retire for the second time, just as Vince was about to begin his NBA career. Carter must have been extremely disappointed about that, but lucky for him and all of us, Jordan once again made a return, finally giving Air Carter the opportunity to face off against Air Jordan. About a year after his second retirement, Jordan returned to the NBA, not as a player at first, but as part owner and president of basketball operations for the Washington Wizards. Then, as another year went by, Jordan started expressing interest in making another comeback, not for the Bulls, but for the Wizards this time. And when Jordan hired his old head coach, Doug Collins, to be the Wizards head coach, it was obvious that Jordan was coming back. Which, of course, he did. Now, there were certain games circled on many people's calendar as soon as Michael announced that he was coming back. Like, of course, Kobe and the Lakers, and even Allen Iverson and the Sixers, just to name a few. But the game that was scheduled to take place on December 16th, 2001 was different because Jordan had yet to play against this particular star, Vince Carter. Okay, I do feel like I have to mention that technically Michael Jordan and Vince Carter did play each other in the preseason, which I feel is also worth talking about, because Jordan actually said something interesting before that preseason game. He said that Kobe was better than Vince because he was a better defender, which you could say that that wasn't even an outlandish statement at all, but Vince Carter certainly took it personal.
Off the steal, Vince sending a message to Michael with his defense. Jordan had been quoted as saying that he thought Kobe was better than Vince because of his defense. Michael would later say and admit that Vince has gotten better on D. Anyway, there's one of two air balls.
My boy Mike giving the props out.
It was said that Vince didn't
Vince
even
got
say
better
a
on
word
D.
to Jordan at
That's
all
tough.
during that game, and it probably had something to do with that Kobe comment. Now, Vince definitely did his thing out there, but once again, this was just a preseason game. But no worries, because their first official meeting in the regular season was even better.
He's not guarding me and I'm not guarding him, so, you know, it's just, I just come out there and do my job, night in and night out. That's what it's all about, you know.
You just heard Vince Carter talk about how Jordan will not be guarding him and he will not be guarding Jordan in an interview right before their first regular season matchup. But little did he know, Doug Collins actually asked Jordan to guard Carter before the game because it was clear that Richard Hamilton had a hard time guarding Carter in the preseason. So Collins asked Jordan to step up, in which Jordan said, not a problem. I guess Vince didn't get the memo. Now, as expected, Carter did go out of his way to show Jordan some love before the game.
It is packed in here today for the first regular season meeting between Air Carter and Air Jordan.
But when it was time to play ball, all that love went straight out the window.
This afternoon, everybody.
As it should, man. Need that competitive nature.
Carter working on Michael right away. First basket to Air Carter.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought they weren't supposed to be matching up against each other. What's going on here, Ron?
He shakes off Michael Jordan and nails the three. Right up on him. Vince Carter wanted a foul on the play. Again, Michael up on him. Vince, a lead.
Yeah, Michael played that a little bit. Got caught.
That night,
caught his
Vince
hip.
Carter said that this was just another game, but his laser-focused demeanor said otherwise. He was zoned in.
Oh, just another game, huh? 18 for Carter. And now Vince up on Michael.
Job defensively right here.
The first quarter is different.
Cuts him off again. Challenges the shot, but hold it right there. Here's the difference. The young Vince Carter just goes a little higher. See, Michael Jordan has the block out, but he can't get up like he used to. Vince Carter wants the ball and then softly puts it back up.
Were you a little surprised to see Michael on you as much on the offensive side?
That doesn't matter. You know, I'm out here to play. I don't care who's guarding me. I'm going to do the job for the Raptors.
As you can see, Vince had 23 first-half points, 19 of those points being in the first quarter alone, mainly at the expense of Michael Jordan. He was having his way with the old man, but in the second half of the game, Carter was in for a rude awakening.
Man. We already know. You know what I'm saying? I was just waiting for when Mike was going to turn it up, you know. We all know Mike was finna turn it up.
Teammates must have had
Come
a
on,
long
man.
talk
We
with
Mike
him
not
in the
going out
locker
like
room
that.
at halftime, because from that point forward, he was locked in.
18 points for
Indeed.
Richard Hamilton, almost stolen by Jordan. Carter can't make it drop.
So you don't want to settle for that shot, Rod. Michael Jordan lunges for the ball, goes for the steal. That's an opportunity to take the ball to the bucket.
The tables were beginning to turn. MJ was the one breaking down his defense, all while making it difficult for Carter to score the ball.
Michael Jordan on the bench.
MJ got in that bag. Hold on.
Effectively shut down Vince Carter in the quarter so far. Vince working on Michael Jordan. Right up on him. Carter with 8 on the shot clock. He puts that shot up there over Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan
And the Wizards is winning now.
Vince doesn't look too happy about what he's hearing.
It was a completely different story in the second half, and it was visibly clear that Carter was extremely frustrated by how things just totally flipped.
As well.
Oh, he's very good at getting in your head, reminding you that you're missing your shots, and he's going to remind you that he's making his at the other end of the floor.
Vince Carter
Poetry in motion.
by this afternoon's experience. 23 points in the first half and bageled in the second.
And what's even more crazy is Vince only took 4
0
shots in the second half after a brilliant first half. All in all,
Nah, Mike kept the ball 0 for the whole half. He was not
managed to come back from a 19-point deficit
bro.
while leaving Vince Carter
Mike
completely
was not playing.
scoreless in the second half, mainly due to Jordan's defense.
Michael Jordan versus Vince Carter. Almost even Steven on the stat sheet, but the bigger number is in the win column, and it goes to Jordan's Wizards.
Now, even though that particular game
Sheesh.
got pretty intense, the respect they had for one another was still there. Of course,
Nah,
they
yeah, of
always
course.
went at each other every time they played, but at the end of the day, it was all love.
Being in the NBA
Facts.
for 22 years, I can proudly say I got the opportunity to play against Michael Jordan.
Vince Carter, Michael up on him.
I want to
Vince
hit up.
leader is good.
Long leader.
Michael Jordan is just starting to heat up.
Hello.
And it was just obviously nothing short of an amazing and an opportunity that a lot of players in today's game can't say. You know, his impact on the game, his impact on players today and the players of the past is well documented.
And we can't forget the fact that Carter actually volunteered to give up his starting All-Star spot to Jordan in 2003.
I remember hearing that before too, man. It's W. Vince Carter, man, for the legend, for the greatest of all time. But if y'all enjoyed this, y'all know what to do. Click on the last reaction. Share the video, subscribe, comment, turn on post notifications, and I'm out of here, man.